Hello. Oh, God. We're live. We're nationwide. Oh, I screwed that up. How y'all doing? What's today? Wednesday? Is this Wednesday? It's Wednesday. That feels like a Tuesday. I'm all discombobulated. How's everybody doing? I am very well. Sorry, I'm still finishing up, getting fully caffeinated. Hi, Bash. How are you? Fairy Dust. How you doing? Okay, y'all hold on. Give me one moment. Hi, Clancy. How are you? Give me one moment here. I thought I put that intro on a loop so that it'll it'll give me a little bit longer to get my shit together. I was out playing in Makeup Mobsters chat, so time got away from me, and I was like, "Oh hell, I gotta go. I got to go. I gotta go do my own thing." Oh Lord, have mercy. Well, the good news is it's Wednesday, euphemistically referred to as hump day. So Friday's 2 days away. Well, my goodness, everybody. How's it shaking? Hey, Texas Tiffany. How are you? Let's see. Let me get my glasses here. See which ones I'm gonna wear. Hi, Sue. Hey, Sue. Hi, Sue. How are you? Okay, we've got those. You guys, I have so many cheaters. And lately, should I wear my Molly Magoo glasses, my Mr. Magoo black glasses? These match a little better. I don't know. Maybe I'll just alternate back and forth. Okay, let's cleanse first, shall we? You know why we're cleansing first? Hey, Revival, how you doing? Zen11, how are you? You know why we're cleansing first? Because as I just said, I was in Makeup Mobsters chat, and oh God, Laura and Molly Golightly. God, will that bitch not go away? She's like the proverbial bad penny. So that's why we need to cleanse, or I need to cleanse. I need to get my Zen on. God, that bitch is so miserable. They are both. My God, I've never seen. Like, has Laura ever had maybe 2 consecutive happy moments in her life? Well, I'm not going to say her life. We'll say her YouTube career. I mean, my God, I've never seen women this petty. It's like everything. She's talking about this one's nails and that one's candles, and it's like, I mean, this dumpster fire is just full of miserable bitches who are very not bothered while being very calm, not bothered, like telling you how not bothered they are. It's like, God almighty, I'd have a little more respect. Just cop to it. Just say, I'm a miserable petty bitch. I can't let one thing go. I mean, that I can respect. Like, I can respect somebody who at least like doesn't insult the intelligence of everybody who happens to be listening. And trust me, that is the longest period of time I have ever listened to Laura. And of course, Molly was in there in her patent leather, patent pleather zip up sausage casing. Molly, honey, let me give you some free advice. I know you're on a budget now, girl, since you lost your main hustle. Hey, nonsense. Fit and curvy, how are you? Girl, let me give you a little bit of free advice. It's kind of sad that you can tell how much you miss the spotlight of all your adoring YouTube fans. Of course, she's talking about how much happier she is, which, my goodness, if you're a normal thinking person, I would believe that, because as toxic as that bitch is and everything that surrounds her, I would tend to believe that. However, she is someone who needs sycophants surrounding her at all times. And well, my goodness, all those adoring fans, how come they have, like, why aren't they blowing her kick platform up? And I don't know. My God, they have got to be two of the most miserable bitches on earth. I've just never seen anything like it. And Laura was actually saying that Makeup Mobster, who, full disclosure, I have only been in her, that was the longest I've ever been in one of her chats. She was live. I thought, let me just go in there and see what's going on. I've popped in and out of her chats in the past, but that's the most time I've ever spent. I had a great time. Everybody in there was, there was a lot of laughing. Of course, it was at the two, ass clowns on the screen at their expense, but hey, that's okay. That's the name of the game. That's what people do here. But yeah, it's like, my God, they take themselves so fucking seriously. Like they're over there having a summit on fucking world peace. Like they're building a bridge between the Palestinians and the Israelis. It's like, no, you're just a perpetual whiny bitches who are never happy with anybody or anything. And instead of just, listen, I understand that we all to one degree or another, we talk smack about other content on YouTube. But I'm sorry, you can but all day long about how you don't care and I don't care what you say and blah, 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 blah. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all spend an awful lot of time not caring. I don't give a shit. Do you? No skin off my ass, because I'm not in the candle business. I'm not in the miserable bitch business. I am, however, I have some career experience where fashion comes into play. And Molly, girl, please, I don't know why everybody in your life, every mirror, every person, I don't know why they're all lying to you and telling, well, some of them I can probably figure out why, but girl, that like zip front patent leather abomination that looks like sausage casing, girl, you need to put that on a burn pile. Don't even donate it. Well, you know what? A skinny girl might look okay in that. I was going to say, it's so ugly. Don't even donate it. But I'm not going to go that far. Just do not donate it to anyone over 200 pounds. Okay. So. Yeah, nonsense. Listen, I know, and this will be a night. God damn it, I keep losing my hair pony. I have about 87,000 of them. Sorry, you guys, let me jump down and get this. I have like 1,000 of them in my bathroom, and I've got them all over my house except for where? Right in front of me in my emergency treasure box, which I think I've shown you guys before, but I'll show you again because it's really cute. My Louis Sherry. This contained some of the world's most fabulous chocolates. And then you get the sweet little box as I keep my very important emergency items in here. Like, does anybody know what this is? Can you see? This is a cashmere comb. Not that we get much use for cashmere in Florida, but you know how even if whether it's dry cleaned, whether it's hand washed, whatever the case may be, cashmere pills, and the finer the ply, the more delicate it is. So you take this thing and you do this, and this is kind of like, it's almost like a spring. That's what that looks like. And it gets rid of the pills in cashmere. So that. A lighter, despite the fact that I don't smoke anything. Super glue, no explanation needed. The world's smallest sticky notes. Oh, uni! Dude, get rid of your whiteboard because that shit takes up a lot of space. This is all you need right here. And all it should say is 4 letters. STFU. And then I have like a microphone. Do you think I have a hair pony? No. I have to get up and do acrobatics every time I drop the one that's in my head. Okay, so let me get this situation dealt with. And then I'll tell you what we're going to be talking about because it's not any of this bullshit I've just been talking about. Hey, crazy nurse, how are you? Oh, I know. Cashmere is very, it is. It's really hard. You've got to be so delicate with it. I actually have some beautiful cashmere, like lumbar pillowcases, and I don't use them because I'm like, I don't touch those pillows. My poor husband, he doesn't get the pillow thing. Like, he's constantly questioning me, honey, why do we have like, there's about, I'm not kidding, it's between 20 and 25 throw pillows on my sectional. Well, I'm the only one who sits on it for the most part, and I sit in one part. So I'm like, well, because it looks pretty, and honey, it's a giant couch. You've got to put shit on it. He's like, well, nobody wants to sit on it because they're afraid to touch the pillow. I'm like, well, that's good. They don't need to be sitting on it. Like we have all this company. Oh, crazy nurse, did it turn into a Barbie sweater? I tell you what, you actually can. I machine wash cashmere as long as it's like a decent ply and it's not, super thin. You can put it on delicate with, I put fabric softener in, obviously don't dry it, and I do it in cold, and I lay it flat to dry. But yeah, you got to be really careful with it. And even if you dry clean it, it's just, that's what happens. It pills. But if you don't have a cashmere comb, crazy nurse, and you're a fan of cashmere, get a cashmere comb. Your cashmere will thank you. Okay. So, yeah, well, here's what it will not work on nonsense. Don't try it on damn wool, because I found out real quick, no, that doesn't work. But somebody told me that for pilling on cotton and things like that, there is something you can get at, is Bed Bath & Beyond, have they gone out of business yet? Used to be able to get it there, and it's like a round, it almost looks like a cheese grater kind of thing. And you run it over the area, and it's like real fine little razors. And supposedly it takes care of that pilling. So there you have it. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? Let me just take a peek at these comments real quick. I want to make sure. None of beeswax, how you doing? Oh, hey, Ellie, how are you? M Faithful, how are you? Fit and Carvey, I think I said hi, but hello again if I did not. Okay, so, oh, yes, nonsense, the shaver thing. I don't know what it's actually called, but I do have a girlfriend who owns a clothing store, and she told me that it works really well on, on certain things. So, okay, what are we going to talk about? Well, a couple things. And I'm just saying right now, Constance, I like you very much. We've never had an issue, and I don't think this is going to cause an issue. But after last night's, this morning I got up. Thank you, Amethyst Moon. That's very sweet. I appreciate that. Y'all, I'm waiting for all my damn Memorial Day shopping purchases to get here. I held out today. I was hoping that this adorable, and I let me some animal print. this beautiful Alice and Olivia animal print silk top with a big pussy bow. And I'm like, hello, those are two of my favorite things ever. A pussy bow and animal print. How can you go wrong? So I'm, waiting. It says it's out for delivery today. And I thought, well, if that bitch gets here by 12:15 at the latest, I'm going to do a quick change and I'm going to wear it today. Alas, it did not show up yet. So look for that top to make an appearance soon at an episode near you. Okay. So last night, for those of you who didn't hear it, I was not at Savages Live last night, but I did watch it this morning. Woo boy. So last night's activities, in combination with another situation that happened, well, hell, it's probably been 2 weeks now, give or take. And I thought, I think the time is upon us for me to give a little of my thoughts. And listen, y'all, everybody on here handles situations in different ways. I like to think that I'm firmly in the middle, okay? I try and, the expression, discretion is the better part of valor. Yes. Silence and not throwing your 2 cents in when it's not going to be helpful is also the better part of valor. So I really, truly try to not throw my 2 cents into it until I feel like I think maybe there's something I could say that is being said in a different way, or you know what I'm saying, okay? And full disclosure, I am Team Savage. I support people who support me and who've been good to me. And she has been. That is not to say that, somebody else doesn't have a completely different thought process where she's concerned. I get that. And I'm not trying to make anybody see things my way, which is kind of going to be what we're going to talk about here. So that's how I decide when I'm going to shut my mouth, when I'm going to open my mouth. And, this YouTube is one of these really strange places where two things that are contradictory to one another can and often do exist at the same time in the same situation. And please don't take what I'm going to say as, well, listen, if you've helped me out and you've been good to me, well, by God, you can come up here and you can kill somebody and I'm going to take your side no matter what. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is this. Just like nonsense. I don't know nonsense all that well because I didn't know her when I was here the last time, and I don't even know if she had a channel when I was here the last time. However, she has shouted me out. She has said some exceedingly kind things about me. So when Steve came up here and started to, I could tell where he was going with it. And find a very nice way to let him know I didn't want it to be a situation where it's like, well, nope, I like her. She's, she's a YouTube friend. So you cannot say one word against her. No, but I wanted it understood, and he's not a dumb guy. So I knew that he was going to know exactly what I was trying to do. So that's how I feel with Savage as well, and with anybody who's ever supported me and helped me, especially when they didn't have to and they weren't gaining anything from it. I remember shit like that. It never goes unnoticed and it never goes unappreciated. So when a situation comes up that's not of major consequence to me, well, I am going to put my support for that person. And hey, Earth, how are you? Oh, nonsense. Don't even worry. No. And I didn't say that because I wanted you to I'm just using it as an example. Hey, Blossom Nick, how are you? Okay, so let me just see if there's anybody I missed. Yes, one of those things that when I say two things can exist at the same time that are polar opposites is the fact that everything, well, I've said a million times, everything on here is exactly as it seems, while at the same time being nothing like it seems. Backstories and tentacles run very deep here. And especially when you're new on the scene, and even though I was, here before, and I think I was here like maybe between 6 and 9 months. You still, there's just no way of knowing everybody's, this one likes this one, this one hates this one over here, but they used to be like this. There's a lot of weird tentacles run deep and wide. That's the best way I know how to put it. And I'm not looking to, I don't need a whiteboard. I don't want a whiteboard. I don't need to know everybody's backstories. Okay. I mean, but obviously there are times when that's going to come into play. And the way I like to try and handle it whenever possible is this. I'm going to defer. When situations come up, I'm going to defer to the people who've been here a lot longer than me. And that's, I don't know how else to do it. Oh, another, polar opposites. Oh my God, it just totally poof. It just left me. It'll come back. So I'll say this. There's many times when I'm in a chat and, sometimes it's a large chat, like Queen Bee's. Because I am over there a lot. She's live a lot when I'm home. And I really like her. And I like so many people over there. Do I like everybody over there? No, I don't. But the way I handle it is out of respect for her I shut up. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and Nick, you're going to know what I'm talking about because you were there. Above the trees. Hi, that's a new name. Welcome. How's this shit show look from above the tree? Does it look any better up there than it does down here? Let's just say this. Let's just say that there's someone in the community, and it's not a creator, but this person has kind of been involved in a couple little controversies of late. And when I was in Queen Bee's the other day, it was Sunday, and it was on the Hive channel. It was not on her main channel. This person was in there. I don't interact with this person simply because I don't need to. And like I already said, I'm Team Savage. Savage has done a lot for me. And by that, all I mean is, even the other day when I went live, I think it was Wednesday. Well, unbeknownst to me, I didn't even see it until the next day, I think. Well, she saw I was going live and she put a post up and said, you know, ship Barbie, because that's what she calls me. No, not shit, ship. I'm sure some people call me the shit Barbie. But, and she said, go support her. Well, that goes a very long way with me. So when I say she's been good to me, that's what I mean. She's, even when I was here the last time. And anybody who's ever had a bigger channel, shout them out. And you've picked up, maybe hundreds of subs. Well, if that doesn't stay with you and you don't always bear that in mind, well, then you're not for me. You're not my peeps. Because that's how I try. Listen, I'm not sitting up here saying that, I'm the moral authority. No, I'm quite the opposite. Do I talk about these dirtbags on here that, the tragedy pimps? Yes, I do. Proudly. I've never made any buns about that. But as far as telling other people what they should be doing and what they should not be doing, I try very hard to. Here's what I know as an adult. And if you're an adult, and I'm presuming you are, well, then you must also know that people like who they like. It doesn't matter what you show them, what you tell them. People like who they like, and they're going to do what they're going to do. And if you do not agree with it, in my opinion, the best way to handle it is you remove yourself. If something starts going left, that's just how I choose to handle it. Another one of those things. YouTube is very much a team sport, while at the same time being an individual sport. It just is. Hey, Liza, how you doing? Been dreaming. How are you? And it can be, hard to navigate at times because of those loyalties that people have, and the fact that we don't know all the backstories and the loose associations. Okay, so all that being said, back to where I was. Yeah, so Nick, you just tell me, and I don't want you to put the name out, but I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this. Let's just say that someone who's been the subject of some controversy. And I don't know jack squat about this person. Never until something popped off. And I saw in that chat that, well, let's just say that this person, there's a lot of people that y'all are some ill-mannered assholes sometimes. It's like, do y'all not have any like home training? Like etiquette and manners? There's just some real ill-mannered people. Let me tell you what I personally would never do. I'm not going to go in anyone's chat and presume that I have a right to call out someone else in the chat. Keep listening, Nick. You'll figure it out. Yeah. And presume that I can just talk to someone else in that chat any old way that I want and call them out and say, what are you doing? Are you a troll? And there was other things. Now, the only reason that I even paid any attention to it was, number one, because the name came up on my radar. And that's not my fault. That's because, like I said, it was just something that's been talked about of late. Well, the only other reason that I even paid the slightest bit of attention was because that day, Queen Bee gave me a wrench in that chat, and I thought, oh, well, this is because the person that the comment was made to, I saw, was someone who said they were brand new there. Well, I don't know about you, but if that was me, and this is how I try and govern what I do and how I behave in other people's chats. I mean, number one, I've had home training. Like, I was raised with manners. And I'm not saying that you have to go to a cotillion or be a debutante to have a little bit of decorum and manners. Like, so many people just have no consideration for others. So because of the fact that, and I did go back before I said a word, and I didn't say anything directly to the person who did it, but I'll tell you what I did do. When I saw that comment, I was like, what? Because I think I don't know if I had a few, chats with that person. I don't think I had, but I didn't see anything that to me, I didn't see anything that warranted that kind of, it was shitty. I mean, it was a shitty call out. And I will say the person who did it fell all over themselves apologizing. But the reason, and here's what I did. This is how I handled it. Instead of saying, trying to play teacher of the class, because I'm not the fucking YouTube police. I'm not employed by the YBI. I think we're also going to need the YBP, the YouTube police. We're going to need the YBS, the YouTube sheriff. What did I say? The YT, yes. The YouTube sheriff, the YouTube police, oh God, all the letters. You get it. Hey, Brittany, how you doing? So what I chose to do, because I knew the person, listen, if this had been two people that I saw all the time in that chat, I wouldn't have done it would have had to have been really outrageous for me to say anything. I try when I'm in chats, I try to just have fun and make, sorry, I'm snarky. That's me. I'm sarcastic. I'm snarky. I very rarely will I ever go in a chat and get confrontational with someone else in that chat. I'll talk shit about who they're reviewing, etc. But I just don't do that. So hey, London girl, how you doing? So because I knew that was a new person in that chat, I didn't decide to be the YouTube police, the chat police, the moral authority, blah blah blah. No, I didn't do any of that. What I did was I said to the new person, I said, "Oh, hi, welcome. You'll like it here. It's a lot of fun. XOXO." And that was that. And like I said, the person that I'm speaking of, and I'm not going to put this person on blast because, I know I'm sure there's a lot of people who think I'm the Antichrist. And trust me, the ones that think that, I'm just fine with that. But I'm not, I'm not about that. If I wanted to, of course I could put the name out there. But it's not about that. It's not about that person. Although, I don't know, it has kind of given, I have a little more context now, let's just say, behind some things that have been said. So, because it's not my place. It's just like when I have guests in my real home, I don't expect people to, well, mostly when I have guests, it's family or my closest friends. So that's probably not a good analogy. When I go to someone's house, that's their house. That's their sanctuary. They run things in their house how they run things. So I just really try to, I'm always going to give someone who has been kind to me, I'm going to naturally give them, I'm going to stand with them unless and until it is shown to me. Like this thing with Savage and the receipt. Here's how I feel about it. Because she has been good to me, she has never said an unkind word to me, and she's only gone out of her way to be kind to me. So when she is on a panel and someone in the chat, whatever was behind that beef with Savage and Independent Thinker, I personally, I don't give a shit about the receipt because that's not that is a petty thing. I mean, to Savage, it's not petty, but that it has no bearing on me. And I will take Savage at her word. If she says it happened, I believe it. I don't know the other person. And like I said, I've sat back and watched some things. And let's just say that there's a lot of people, well, I'm not going to say that. There are people who, creators and not creators, that a lot of people think are, just wonderful, pure as the driven snow. I don't necessarily think that. Hey, to Kelly, how you doing? Stargazer Mom, how are you? Oh, Liza, that is very true. That's very true. You never know who you're talking to. And yeah, you do see a lot of people who have no home training. But there are people, like I said, creators and just subs who maybe many people like very much and think that, you know, they're the greatest thing ever. But that's not necessarily my experience with them. Okay. One that I'm thinking of has, let's just say, never given me the time of day. And that's okay. This person doesn't have to. Don't take this to mean like, well, you know, I am special and you should speak to me when you see me. No, I don't think that at all. But, you know, when I come to your chat and you can't even, and you snub me, okay, noted. And I do, like, you don't have to scream at me, you don't have to beat me over the head, and I don't need to do that. And don't even ask me who I'm talking about, because I'm not going to tell you, because I don't roll that way. I am not about, I'm trying to make a very some general observations based on some specifics that have happened to me, but I'm not trying to put that person on blast. And we don't all have to like the same people, obviously. We're grown-ups, supposedly. But so yes, when I don't care how many people think you're fantastic and wonderful and amazing. If you have snubbed me on multiple occasions, and here's how I know, because if you're going to speak to the person directly above me and the ones below me in the chat on multiple occasions throughout maybe that one and then other ones, like I said, noted. And naturally, I won't be there anymore, because why would I? So just because someone is, you know, maybe well thought of by a whole bunch of people, well, that doesn't mean that everybody has that experience, and vice versa. Hi, Mike Stevens. We're not talking about Betty today, so I hope you'll behave. Come on, Mike. You can do this for me. Oh, Nick, you know I'm not going to tell. Delicate Titanium. Hi. That is definitely a new name I've never seen. Welcome. And it doesn't matter, Nick. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Okay, I'm a big girl. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that, well, I just can't understand why somebody would not like me. No, hell no. I'm the opposite of most of these dipshits who have no clue, you know, why people talk about them. No, I can come up with many reasons why someone wouldn't like me. Okay. We don't all have to like each other. That's why there's so many channels. Okay, so here's how I'm going to try and oh, the title. Does anyone know what the title meant? Kit, did I say hi to you? Hello. Hey, blank screen, how you doing? Yes, the answer to your question is yes. Okay, Mike, well, I like you too, usually, until you start till you start saying some crazy stuff. So since we're not talking about Betty today, I think we should I don't know, Mike. Remember last time we had well, let's just see how it goes. Nick, I know there's at least one mod in here. And if we need more, don't worry, we'll handle that. I think Nick will have this quite in hand. It's not like there's a million people. Okay. Oh, Stargazer. I am not most people's cup of tea either, and I'm good with that. You know, that's it's not like I try. Listen, who said this the other day? Oh, Laura. Well, guess what? We're human. Okay, thank you. Noted. Now, I think some of us are like single cell amoebas, protozoa. Yeah. Some of us are, some of us don't seem to be too evolved. But, the title, The Little Mermaid. What was, oh shit, my bad. It's not The Little Mermaid. It was Elsa from Frozen. Shit. I had Little Mermaid on the brain. That's because I just watched that stupid documentary on Netflix. Oh my God. Here's what I'll say. Keep those hours. Keep them. You won't get them back. I still can't believe they made a 4 or 5-part documentary series about people who want to be mermaids. Yes. Okay, so hey Rowena, how you doing? No effing way. How are you? Oh my God, y'all haven't heard of this? On Netflix, there's a documentary called it'll be the only one when you put it in the search engine, just put mermaid documentary. And I swear to you, it is about people who want to be mermaids. And wait for it, because I did not believe it. And this is why I clicked on it, because in the teaser, they said, wait for it, it is a billion with a B, $1 billion a year industry. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, Stargazer. It's just, I couldn't believe it. But when I saw that, my girlfriend was over. I said, oh God, should we watch? Let's just watch the first episode. Because I said to her, if it's $1 billion industry, it's got to be in the get up, the tail. And that's a huge part of the money. Yeah, it's interesting. Does it warrant a multi-part series? No, not in my opinion. They could have done that in 2 hours or an hour and a half in a documentary. Okay, so to Kelly, Chicken of the Sea. Do you remember when Jessica Simpson made what was that show she had with Nick Lachey? And they she really thought, she didn't know that Chicken of the Sea was tuna fish. Yeah. Okay, so the title, which, sorry, it wasn't, I should have been referencing Elsa, not Ariel. Ariel from The Little Mermaid. So what's Elsa's theme song? Let it go. Let it go, bitch. Oh God, that's so funny. I can't believe because I had a thing for The Little Mermaid as an adult. I shouldn't admit that. Not watching it, I just thought she was so cute when I was 22, 23 years old. I love The Little Mermaid. Okay. That. Hold on, I'm just scratching things off my. Got that. Oh, look at this. I hardly even need my damn notes. Okay. One of the broader things I want to touch on, because this has come up of late. In fact, when I did the watch and react, Dolly reviewing Laura, reviewing Joneson. And that's what kicked off this whole thing with Savage, and Independent Thinker. And it is a running theme. Well, let's face it. I mean, it's a running theme on here at any and all times. But it came up again last night on Savage's Live with Constance Sue. And here's just, before we actually get into the meat of that thing, my thoughts on hypocrisy. And I think I said as much I never did finish the Dolly thing because I couldn't do it the next day. And, then we're 3 days later since he posted, and I was just like, oh, fuck it. Do another one if that's what I wanted to do. But, so hypocrisy. Apparently, YouTube, unlike the real world, people love to throw around the word hypocrisy. I got news for all of you who think that, you want to plant your flag on the hypocrisy argument. Now, listen, obviously there's degrees of hypocrisy, but if you're going to tell me that you are never a hypocrite in your life, I'm calling bullshit. And I'm going to say that every single one of us, probably on the daily, are hypocrites. Okay? That's hypocrisy is, or let me see. I think I wrote another word down here too. Well, I don't want to use that one right now. Let's just say that to not be a hypocrite or to live a life free of hypocrisy, well, that's an ideal. And no, I'm not being Prayer Garden, the illiterate viper who cannot say the word idea. So everything with Prayer Garden is, oh, that's a great ideal. No, I am purposely using ideal as in that is the gold standard to strive for, to not be a hypocrite. But if any of you are going to sit here and tell me that you hold everyone in your private life to the same, that, the very high hypocrisy bar, I'm going to tell you, you're full of shit. We all are. I mean, come on. You're going to tell me that you treat your best friend, or that you hold your best friend, or, your sister-in-law, or your sister, a sibling, whatever the case may be, people who are in your real life and close to you in varying degrees for whatever reason. Are you going to tell me that you demand the same, that you hold all of them to the same set of standards that you hold every other Tom, Dick, and Harry schmo in the world? No, you do not. None of us do. And like I said, varying degrees of hypocrisy. So I truly don't think any of us, unless it is something so egregious that it's comical, which, I mean, there is a lot of shit on here that could fit that category. But I just think it's, and here's another thing. Here's another ideal that, or term that goes hand in hand with that one. And that's the moral authority. Well, everyone's morality is in a different place. I know for me personally, this whole thing came about because of all this controversy with Dolly and Joneson. That kind of predates before the independent thinker thing popped off on Jenny Jens. And this will kind of go back to what I said in the beginning about how, you go in chats and people are in the chat or people are on the panel, and we all have varying ideas about what is and what is not acceptable behavior to us, which means our moral compass, or what we find to be moral or immoral, are, and Maine to Spain and back again. Everybody's is different. So for me personally, I see little to no redeeming value in Dolly. He's a criminal with a lengthy rap sheet, whether that be present or past. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he has at least 2, current cases that have not been adjudicated yet. And it's not just petty things, a DUI. Of course, I don't find DUIs to be that petty, since I have firsthand experience in my family with a fatal car accident that was caused by drugs and alcohol. Now, fortunately, I didn't lose anyone, but that's all I'm going to say about that. But so there's that. He, in my opinion, is a misogynistic pig who speaks to women. Aileen, that's all I'm going to say. And I don't want to hear about her criminal record because I don't give a shit. I do not care. She wasn't doing anything to him, and he showed his little leprechaun ass. Yes, he did. He lost his shit, and I don't know. Oh, and let's not forget, not only does he have very problematic family members who are registered sex offenders on indefinite supervision. Listen, everybody can have someone in their family who does something terrible. We don't hold them responsible for what their family member has done, as long as they didn't partake in it. But having them living with you, well, that's a whole nother thing. So for me, let me just make sure I've covered. Oh, let's not forget when he wanted all of Savage's baby's grandbaby, her info. Can you imagine how she must have felt about that? Knowing what that disgusting piece of shit, who was SAing his own daughter, and I'm not talking molestation, we're talking intercourse. If you dumbasses want to believe that he's, how about this? How about instead of worrying about Summer Wells, because here's a newsflash, there's a whole bunch of your tragedy pimp colleagues who've got that grift well in hand. They're all fighting for, who's going to get the most, who's going to wring the most money out of that poor child. I mean, you want us to believe that someone who didn't apparently give a shit enough about his own niece and what was happening to her. Do you realize, those of us that read the appellate's court decision when custody was terminated And what is it about these kind of people? Oh, hell yeah, they're going to file an appeal. Are you serious? But they did. And I read the decision. And that is a travesty. What happened to that child? And it wasn't just abuse, it was severe neglect. But we're supposed to believe that, oh, he's doing so much for Summer Wells. No, asshole. Summer Wells is doing so much for you. Just like the rest of these dirtbags out here that grift off that child. How do you fucking sleep at night? Do any of you give Don and Candy Cane a kickback in super chats? Since it is their daughter that you are exploiting night after night after night after night, I mean, I think it's only fair. Give them their cut. Or better yet, I don't know, why don't you go start a, oh, here's a good thought. Because it is problematic to try and set up, a bank account as a custodian for a minor. I don't know that you can do that easily without, the money being held in trust, and then you have to have a trustee. No, so why don't you make it, you know what? There's an amazing charitable organization in Tennessee. I think it's in several cities in Tennessee, and it might even go out of Tennessee. It's called Isaiah's House. Why don't you make some donations to that charity or another children's charity in the name of Summer Wells? If you don't want to give Don and Candace money or a gift card, I mean, for me personally, you people, I would rather see Don and Candace have the money. I really would. I don't give a fuck what they do with it. I'm sure I can figure out what they do with it. I don't care. Because all these gross people, they are exploiting that child on the nightly. But this isn't about Summer Wells. But I'm trying to make a point here. So I personally, for me, I don't see any redeeming value in him. I don't give a shit if he can be, morning radio drive time zoo DJ entertaining. And let me just clue y'all in here. If you think that real world success has any correlation to YouTube channel size or success, oh, it does not. Because many of these people, well, their real lives are boiling hot messes. None of us are perfect. I am far from perfect. I have never claimed to be. I will never claim to be. But I do not have a criminal record a mile long. I've never made money off of a missing child and or a dead child. And I've never done everything within my power to make people who are already suffering just suffer a little more. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Kathy P. How you doing? So the only reason I brought any of that up is to just, paint a picture of everyone has their own moral compass, call it whatever you will. We all see things in people that other people don't. We all don't like people because other people don't. But I learned a very long time ago, control the only thing you can control, and that is yourself. And the universe has a way of righting itself. It truly does. I believe that. I've seen that many times. We are not all going to get along. I'm going to like people that you can't stand, and vice versa. But I, first and foremost, at least until it's proven that I shouldn't, my support and my support goes to those who have been kind to me. And that's the only way I know how to do it on here. It truly is. I don't know enough. Listen, and there are people I can tell you that I can't stand. And some of them for no more reason than I can't stand the sound of their voice. We're all, listen, we are all like that to some degree, okay? You got a whole hell of a lot of personalities on here, and let's face it, this really is not that big of a place. this little tiny speck of YouTube that we're all swimming around in this big pool here, it's really not that big. So, and there's two things that bring out the beast in people are money and egos. Okay, so after last night, hold on, I'm just gonna look at I just want to look at my notes for a minute. Okay, that. Oh, yep, got that. I guess I just want y'all to just remember, we like who we like for whatever reason. And it's just, none of us are 100%. That's not the way I want to put that. The hypocrisy thing, we're all hypocrites, okay? We all are. We do it every single day, and it's just natural to me anyway that those that we like, we're going to cut more slack, and we're going to see maybe the attributes of whether we should or not than those that we can't stand for whatever reason. I mean, it's just, and to pretend that it's anything else, to me, is very immature, childish thinking. So, hi, Daily Meander. How are you? Did I see somebody? Headstones, how you doing? Miss Emmy. Oh, Emmy, I saw that when you said I sent it was to Kelly about the message on Twitter. I'm like, girl, I'm not on Twitter. Hey, Nanya, how you doing? Okay, so now on to last night. Constance. I've never had an issue with Constance ever. I don't think this will cause an issue. If I didn't give a damn and I didn't like Constance, I'd either say nothing or I'd rip into her. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, and I think last night things really like went left, starting at least in the middle of the program, and I think a lot of that lies with Constance, and Doesn't mean I agree with some of the things that were said, but listen, that was Savage's panel. That was her show. And Savage, Constance, I titled this one for you. Sorry, I used The Little Mermaid. It should have been Elsa from Frozen. Let it go. Let it go, girl. When I listened to that this morning, I had to go to you guys, this is hilarious. I had to go to the clerk of the court. I had to file something with the clerk. And as I'm waiting for the elevator to go to the clerk's office, I look to my left and I see a set of double doors. And what do you think it said over the top of the double doors in big giant letters like that? Board of County Commissioners. And I thought, oh shit, should I go in there and play Bullhorn Betty? Oh no, my hair is way too good to play Bullhorn Betty. Oh yeah, and I'm smart, and yeah, well, never mind. But yes, my goodness, I'm never going to be able to see a Board of County Commissioners meeting again anywhere in this great nation without thinking of Bullhorn Betty. Or a bag of cotton candy. And I love cotton candy. I just don't want my hair to look like cotton candy. Apparently Betty did. Okay, bitch, this is not about you. Sit down, Betty. Shut up. So that being said, even though listen, I could tell the frustration just at the end. Savage had just lost it. And I'm sure, listen, I would imagine she probably, I'm not speaking for Savage, but I think she probably, maybe in the light of a new day, well, I would not be surprised if she didn't, maybe think that she could have maybe just used some better different word choices, we'll just say. I'm trying to be very careful here because I do not speak for Savage, and I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying I know that's how I'd feel. Let's just say that. So, but that is not to say that Constance didn't absolutely. She took Constance. Here, this is more towards the end of my notes, but here, good segue. Constance, I will give you this. You are, without a doubt, one of the most tenacious people I have ever met. And that is a blessing and a curse. Last night, it was a curse. But what I wrote down to make sure that I mentioned was the fact that I wish, Constance, that you would take that tenacity and that you would channel that into something that, number one, you can actually affect an outcome, affect some change. Because I'm telling you right now, you are barking up the wrong tree over there with that. You are not, Constance, there's nothing you're going to say that is going to, bad pun, turn that ship around. You're not. You are not. And the more you talk, you were doing a uni, you were digging a uni rock hole, okay? And you needed a shovel to get out. And you had a 1/8 of an inch teaspoon towards the end there. And Constance, I promise you, I say this with respect. My God, Constance, you could take that tenacity and you could find a cause that your tenacity could affect change and really do some good. On YouTube and trying to get grown adults to change their mind about something because you feel that way about something, that is never going to happen. And all you're doing is you are making a situation that's already not great, you're just making it worse. Hello, Justin. Consciously biased. How are you? Oh God, good Lord. No, that won't be happening. She's not a fan of Betty. Can't blame her there. Oh, y'all, there has been, yeah, to Kelly, I had, okay, well, I'll consider it Twitter. But Sunday, I was having a hell of a time. Listen, when everybody was complaining about the chat, oh, what was it, about a week ago before Memorial Day? I wasn't having any problems at all. Sunday, oh my God, that was a shambles. It was a hot ass mess. So I'm sorry if y'all are having problems in the chat. I think what I kept doing is make sure you're on live chat as opposed to talk. Toggle back and forth between those, and then sometimes just get X all the way out and come back in, and it'll help temporarily, but it won't fix it. Okay, so let's get going on this. Okay, number one that I wrote down, Constance, you got to stop fighting everyone's battles. Okay, you really do. I was on the panel with Savage a few weeks ago with, let's see, who was on? It was, Pirate wasn't there. I don't think Pirate was there. It was Savage, me. Oh, Boston Nick was there. Voices came up for a little bit, but Voices booked out of there once Constance started white knighting for Jimbo. And now what Constance will say, and I heard her say it many times last night, is when the white knighting, she will say, I am not white knighting for Jimbo. I am white knighting for the truth. And here's what I would say to that. Constance, kind of like I was saying earlier about hypocrisy and how that we are all guilty of it. We all do it probably on the daily. And that's an ideal. It's a standard. It's something to strive for, to not be a hypocrite, but we are. So when you say I'm white knighting for the truth, well, same concept. There's his truth, her truth, what's probably the truth. People see the truth in different ways. Not everybody, the truth, I mean, in a perfect world, yes, it would be black and it would be white and there'd be nothing in the middle. But we don't live in a perfect world, and we're all hypocrites at various times, and we all do not necessarily see the concept of truth in the same way. We just don't. And hold on. Let me consult my notes. Okay, so what's got Constance so wound up is Nicolina and what they call the Mean Girls. I don't even know who the hell is in the Mean Girls. Okay, I know it's a group of, I think it's less than 20. I don't know. I know very little. I know that Traders is in it. Oh, what's the other girl's name? It'll come to me. Shit, who else is in it? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Her main beef, I think, is with Nicolina. And I think Constance sees things as very black and white. It's like, this is the truth, this is not the truth. Very little in life, whether it's the truth, whether it's someone, a witness to something, retelling a story, whatever it is. I mean, there's very little in life that's black and white, especially with our ever-changing, ever-expanding vernacular and social constructs. I mean, things just get more convoluted and more gray to me than ever before. So I think, sorry, you guys, the collar is making me crazy. You know, see how it's got like this, it's got a lapel underneath the lapel, and it makes me nuts. I think, to boil it down in the simplest terms, my guess would be Constance, her arch nemesis is Nicolina. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that Nicolina is an angel. She absolutely is not. I think she's done some terrible things. I think everyone involved in all that melee with the mean girls and Constance and everyone else over there. That's not my social circle. I do not go to any of those chats. And it's not because I hate everybody. No, but we all pick and choose where we go and who we associate with. And it's not always because, oh, I love you so much and I hate them so much. No, I think that you have to, just like in life, I think you have to be very careful who you get involved with, because if and when you fall out, it's going to be ugly. So if you just don't get involved, chances are you don't have to worry about that. And that's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't hate anybody over there. I don't even dislike them. That's just not who I run around with. So I think, and Nicolina's arch nemesis, I believe, if he's not number one, he's up there, is Jimbo. Now, if I had to make a guess, which is all I can do because I don't know anything that's going on with them, just what I hear and the little bit I see. I think Constance's feelings are very, very hurt. Because I think Constance, because she sees things so black, white. I think that because she cannot imagine ever making peace with Nicolina and the mean girls, even though, to me, that is what she should do. And all I mean by that, I'm not talking, y'all sit around the campfire and sing Kumbaya. No, I'm talking, you don't talk about me and I don't talk about you, and we just stay out of each other's way. I mean, that to me, that would be what I would say to do. And I don't know. Constance seems to take on these battles on behalf of other people. I don't know truly that there's ever been anything done to Constance herself besides, saying nasty things. I don't know that there's ever been any real life anything that has gone on between them. And if there is, then obviously that's, I'm not being terribly articulate here, because what I am trying to do, which is not real easy, is I am trying to speak very generally about something very specific without you know, getting anyone without getting anyone to coming after me, like, what the hell are you doing sticking your nose in it kind of thing. You guys know what I'm saying. So I think, you know, Constance has said several times now, I've heard her say, the ship was the first place that she ever felt, you know, really accepted or welcomed here on YouTube. So I get it. I really do. But that also speaks to those of us who are, you know, nobody is just a creator. We all also consume. You know, we are subs as well. And for anybody who is strictly a sub, all I can say is there's nobody that can adequately explain to you what it is like to be on the other side of the camera. You just have to experience it for yourself. But just suffice it to say, there's a lot that goes into this. There really is. When I say that, I mean up here. And like I said before, YouTube channel size is not in any way indicative of real world success or having your shit together. Because let's just look at some of the bigger channels in drama and, well, my goodness, personal lives are, whoo, they're a mess. And I'm sorry, if you've got a rap sheet, you know, if you've got 20 to 40 docket entries over decades, criminal and or civil and or current arrest court cases, it's a way of life, okay? It just is. I had my one and only brush with the law 35 years ago when I was 18 years old, and I never, that was enough for me. So it's not, there's not a correlation between the two, is all I'm trying to say. So I think because Constance has such, I mean, I hate to use the word hate, but I have not heard Constance refute that in the many times I have heard it asserted by different people in regards to her thoughts on Nicolina. So I'm just gonna go with it. And I heard Constance say, I think it was yesterday, might have been prior, but I heard it from Constance herself. How did she put it? Oh, she said something to the, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, something to the effect of, Nicolina knew the one thing and the one place that she could go to really hurt me and try and, you know, I think in Constance's mind, Nicolina is trying to become team Savage, or she wants, you know, them to come to her side. I listen, I don't know. I'm not privy to any of that. None of us are. But I think Constance's feelings, I think she really believes that. I think that she really does think that Nicolina went in there like a heat-seeking missile just to spite Constance. I don't believe that. That is not to say that I don't think there is a reason for it. I think there is, but I don't know what it is, and I don't care. It's none of my business. I don't need to know. Um, I have no problem. It happens all the time that I'm in chats where there are people in there that I don't care for. I don't speak to them. And I don't block them either. I just don't. Like, I don't respond to their posts or, what they put in the chat, and they don't give me a problem. And the day that it does happen, well, I'll just remove myself. What I'm not going to do is jump up and down and scream and, start telling everybody what they need to do and how it needs to be handled and why, this one should do this and that one should do that. And you said this and you said that. Fuck. I mean, half the time in here, this place is like middle school. It's like a damn middle school lunchroom cafeteria. Bill Pills, what the hell's that? No, Nanya, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Okay, so I think there's that. Constance's feelings are hurt. And I mean, I haven't seen every time Constance has interacted with Savage or any of the other ladies on their channels. But Shannon did say, what's crazy is I've never seen Shannon. I've never seen her aggravated. I mean, I've seen her, she kind of does like me. She, she'll yell and whatnot, but it's usually in humor about these ass clowns that we're talking about, whoever happens to be the ass clown du jour. But I think she said that she had a lot of comments on a particular video, and it was, Constance and people from Constance's channel. And apparently, see, this is why this is such a strange place. And you don't know people, okay? You just don't. You do not know people. And I heard Savage and Shannon both say last night, people who had been in their chats for a long time throwing money at them. And I know at least one of the people she's talking about, and she's not wrong. This person sent a lot of super chats on the regular. And they're all over kikiing at Constance's. Listen, the bottom line is there are people on here, subs and creators, but I'm kind of speaking mainly about subs right now. This is their life, okay? For whatever reason, whether they're, medically compromised and they can't work, they don't work, maybe they don't have family, they don't have a lot of friends, takes all kinds. And for a lot of people, it truly is like they live for this shit. And it's very much people pick teams. Of course, half the time they're not even privy to all the information, because how could they be? How could they know exactly what goes down between other creators? But it is what it is. So I think there's, Shannon definitely was irritated because apparently she's had Constance in her comment section and some of Constance's people, who up until that point were also Shannon's people. So there's that. And I can totally understand how Constance could be hurt. I'm not saying that she should be, but I'm saying I understand, because over here on this side, and Constance should know this, and I'm sure she does. We really have, as creators, we don't really have any way of knowing how much a sub does or does not like us and to what degree, because we don't know them. We don't interact with them except in the very short term in these lives or in the comment sections or in chat. So, sometimes, listen, I've had people who, well, my goodness, on a Monday, they thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And Tuesday night, they're ripping into me and reading me for filth about something that I'm like, what the hell? You just don't know. You don't know what makes people tick. You don't know what they really think. So, and nobody in this place is entirely innocent. Let's face it. Nobody. We have all, poked at things that we shouldn't have. We've all said things that we shouldn't have, or we should have said nicer. And Constance is no exception. Constance, you are not an angel. You are not blameless. So, I mean, this has kind of been ramping up and building, but hold on one second. Okay, so what most people, when I was on the panel a few weeks ago, I think it was a Friday night. Nick, remember when we were on there? Was it? Oh no, I'm sorry. It was B Tim. It was B Tim and Voiceless. That was basically the same conversation, but Nicolina was not involved in that. Nicolina had not come on to. Well, if she, I would imagine they were all probably speaking behind the scenes, but I don't think any of us knew anything about it. It wasn't. They weren't in each other's chats, I don't think. And let me say again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not about to question Savage or Shannon or Pirate or any of the ladies or Queen Bee or Nonsense or Nanya. I'm not about to start questioning anyone as to, why are you talking to that one? Why did you have that one on panel? I mean, and I don't expect anybody to ask me that. And if shit starts going left, I will handle what I can handle, and that's me. So, and that's where Constance's tenacity is not a good thing, because she can't let this go. Hey, Remy, how you doing? Here's how I would have handled it. Were I Constance? Oh my goodness. That was hilarious. My pen went boop and it just fell. Okay, so if I'm Constance, but that tenacity and her black and white thinking maybe why she didn't. Well, maybe she did do this. I don't know if she did or not. I have no way of knowing that. I'm going to say if she did do what I'm about to say, that's where it should have ended, and she should have left it there. If I'm Constance, here's what I do. I reach out to Savage. She's got an email in her about page, or I, leave a comment, not a specific one. If she doesn't respond to my email, and listen, I am the absolute worst with the emails. I'm trying to get better about answering comments in a more timely manner, but I don't mean that. I'm just sometimes, I have an aversion. Y'all, listen, one thing I can say about this place is it is so mentally taxing. It really is. that when I walk out of my office, I don't want anything more to do with it for a little while. Remy, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you just came in, I think. So just later on, you might want to go back, and because I basically in the beginning, that's what I've been saying this whole time. So first I'm going to try the email. If that doesn't work, I'm going to leave under her latest video, I'm going to leave a comment, and I'm going to say, hey, I sent you an email. Can you just, when you get a chance, can you just check that email? I really just wanted to talk to you about something. And I would air my concerns. And here's what I'd say. I love you. You were one of the first channels that ever, really made me feel welcome and accepted me. And I'm just so upset and disappointed to see that, you and the mean girls are now getting along. I wasn't aware that there was any bad juju there. I mean, but remember, I left. Quinn Simon, I blew my channel up. I was so disgusted with that and the people in this place that I was just like, what the fuck? What am I doing here? Like, this is insanity. I don't want any part of this shit anymore. And I did. I blew that shit up. So it could be, and when I tell you I didn't for probably 2 months, I didn't even watch not 1 minute, not 1 second. There were 2 people that I still talked to from YouTube the entire time, and one of them was Heels in the Air. But we didn't talk about YouTube. I remember I reached out to her at Thanksgiving to, wish her a happy Thanksgiving. Same thing with Christmas, New Year's. And periodically I'd check in and say, hey, how you doing? And she'd say, girl, when are you going to come back? Please come back. So it very well could be that I just don't know about whatever happened. But listen, everybody on here has beef with everybody at some point or another. Some people just take it a lot further. Okay, so, and I would just proceed to say, and not a novel, but just, I'm really disappointed. And here's why. I don't know if you're aware of XYZ. And that would be that. If I did not get a response, that would be that. I would either part ways and no longer be a sub and or watch the lives or the replays. What I would not do is every time there's a live, get in the chat and start demanding a link. I mean, I gotta say, and here's another thing that's a double-edged sword. Here's what I'm going to give Constance. I'm going to give her props for, she's not a coward. She will absolutely, she's not scared to come up and tell you what she thinks. And I don't know that I could say the same thing if I had that whole panel pissed with me. I don't think I'd be gunning to get up there and start chopping it up. Hey, Blank Slate, how you doing? But on the other hand, that's annoying as shit. Oh, one thing I'm leaving out, why I think that when I said Constance isn't completely innocent, I'm sure she's played her part and probably things we don't even know about. But I do know Remy, I basically said the same thing. But here's something I know Savage was torqued about, and I get it. I'd be pissed too. I guess she tried to get up on, I think it was Jimbo's panel, and Constance was on the panel. He did an Ernie, and he put the link out. Savage took the link, and he left her ass sitting backstage while he proceeded to talk all kinds of shit. And Savage was full hot that Constance did not say, hey, Jimbo, you got Savage sitting back there, and you've had her back there, and she's waiting. Are you going to let her up, or are you just going to be a bitch, and you're going to leave her sitting backstage, doing an Ernie move? So I know Savage was pissed about that, and she made no bones about it, because the next time she went live, she said to Constance, who this was after the panel I was on that Friday night, where Constance did the whole white knighting for Jimbo, and she just wouldn't let it go. And that very next live, after that debacle where she was stuck backstage, she said to Constance, who was in the chat, and she wanted a link. And I remember Savage said, no, fuck you. No, you can sit your ass right there. Just like you didn't say shit when I was standing backstage, and you knew, and you didn't say a word. So no, fuck you. Like only she can say it. So this isn't just a one-time thing that ended in the, culminated in last night. No. So that's how I would have handled it. But Constance, here's the thing. You have got to stop. You feel the need to refute every single point, no matter how, like last night, Nicolina was up there. Oh God, that thing was who wasn't up there at some point, but there would be a comment, and then Constance would say something like this. In fact, I wrote a couple of them down about Jimbo. And she would say, quote, well, so did Shannon, end quote. Are you gonna say something to Shannon? Because Shannon said the same thing. Shannon did it. Are you gonna take Shannon to task? In that vein. Really. I mean, honest to God, if it had been said, well, Jimbo was wearing a green shirt, Constance would have said, no, he was wearing a red shirt. I saw it. I've got proof. Do you want to see the proof? I'll send the proof. There's a link backstage. You want to listen to it? I mean, honest to God, that's the vein this was in. And I mean, I think it's all, and here's the thing where it needs to go back to, hey, SoFlo Mama, how you doing? Where it needs to go back to, none of us get to tell listen, I said last week, my husband does not tell me where to go or what to do. Do you think someone on YouTube is going to? No, ma'am. So the thing with Jimbo, okay, Constance can call it whatever she wants. Call it white knighting for the truth. They call it white knighting for a pedo. Call it whatever you want. For me, I have no use for that guy. I think he's disgusting. I think he's a grifter. And I left a hilarious chat under last night's video on Savages about the dog that he he wanted to borrow $3,000 from someone to buy a dog. Oh, I guess he's like a backyard breeder. Yeah. I said, well, you know what? I'll give him $3,000 for a dog, but the dog is going to need to also have a job with Merry Maids, because that house where his poor deceased aunt was, whoo, goodness. Looks like we got maybe a little hoarder situation or something going on there. Yeah. If you want to laugh, go read the comment I left, because there's more than that, but it all went in that vein. I think I said at some point that if I'm going to buy him a dog that's going to have its own Tinder profile, well, I have two conditions. So if you want to know what the conditions are, go read the comment. It was pretty funny. So there's that. I don't understand why Constance, and even if that is the way Constance sees it, that I think Constance is in this never-ending battle to set the record straight. Honey, you got to read the room, and you've got to consider your audience. You are not going to change their minds. And I know Jimbo loves to talk about what a good daddy he is. Let me tell you something, you piece of shit. Mr. I'm such a good daddy. I don't go to his channel. I've never spoken on him except this one time. And that was when he and Ernie thought it was a great idea to get Benny Key's 18-year-old daughter on his panel to talk about her father in a negative manner. And I don't give a shit if he paid 1 penny in child support for 18 years. And believe me when I tell you, I know about that. I'm getting child support. Let's just say my son will be almost double the age of majority. Well, I didn't phrase that right. By the time mine is done, my son's a whole ass adult by many years. And I'll be getting child support for a very long time, because his dad chose not to pay it when he was a child. So I know all about that game, okay? Mom of a gladiator. Oh, mom of a gladiator agrees. It was pretty funny. Thank you, though. You call yourself a great dad. I don't know you. I don't care. You're not my problem. My tax dollars don't pay for Medicaid or any of that shit in the state of Kentucky. So not my problem. But for any parent, especially with a little girl, because that's a little girl. Okay, that's a little girl. I don't give a shit. 18 might as well be 13. Oh, there is that. Oh no, that was 12. Yeah, there is that. So yeah, I find Jimbo, I don't give a shit what the truth is. I know what I saw with my own eyes and I heard with my own ears, and he brought someone else's little girl on panel for no other purpose but to talk poorly about her father. And I don't hold that child at fault, because she is a child. And it's none of our business. What kind of an absolute amoral piece of shit reprobate do you have to be to want so badly that you would use someone's, and you have your own daughter. Would you like your daughter exploited like that? You call that shit whatever you want. That was exploitation. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I said it at the time. I'm still saying it now. I haven't talked to Benny Keys or been in any of his chats in months. Doesn't matter. It was disgusting then. It is disgusting now. So sit down and shut the hell up. I don't need to hear about what a great daddy you are. I guess as long as your kids think so, well, like I said, none of this shit is my problem. But these are my reasons why I don't rock with Jimbo, okay? I just don't. I'm sorry. There's nothing for me there. No, there's not. But I've never held that against Constance. But I kind of like Dolly. I don't understand why anybody sees these people as anything more than what they are. And I don't associate with people like that in my real life. Why? Like, why would I do it here? And hey, Shutterbug, how you doing? That's a new name. Welcome. Oh, Constance. Oh. Well, Constance, I would urge you to go back and listen. Put it on 2 times speed. I'm basically just talking about what happened last night. And this is not bash Constance. This is not trash Constance. I prefaced all of this with that I've never had a problem with you, and I don't expect this to be a problem. And that your tenacity, my God, you could absolutely take that passion and that tenacity, and you could really affect change with some cause that could absolutely use your skills to their benefit. I don't think trying to get Savage or anybody else to change their mind about Nicolina and the Mean Girls. That's the gist of it. So, but I would urge you to go back and listen, because I haven't said one thing here that I would. Hey, I've got a cat climbing a wall behind me. God, cats are so funny. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Yeah, you can't argue people into submission. And I truly do believe that we don't know why people do things that they do. Just like we do. Just like there's things we do here on YouTube that, listen, you are never going to please all the people all of the time. We all know that. And of course we can. Agree. I'm sorry. Of course we can disagree and still be friends. Yes. And Constance, honestly, I think I understand. I know that you are archiving, that you've got all these things, and I've heard you say on multiple occasions that you are doing that so that if someone else has a problem, you will have the proof. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, just like I said earlier, I'm never going to tell you and Nicolina and the Mean Girls. I don't even know who the Mean Girls are besides Nicolina, and I think I know 2 more. And it doesn't matter. I'm never going to tell you that y'all should sit down, around the campfire and roast s'mores and sing Kumbaya. Nobody thinks that's ever going to happen. However, I will say stranger shit's happened on here. But what I would urge you to do is, and for you, not for anybody else, but for you, if there is any way possible, and I know bad things have been done, bad things have been said. There's nobody innocent in this thing. But I would truly urge you to if you can find it within you, not to be buddy buddies and be friends, but to just, I hate to call a truce because it sounds stupid, but I don't know what else to call it. And you know how things can at the drop of a dime here. A list. Oh, to Kelly, I don't watch him, but anybody that had that little girl on their channel to talk bad about her father, you are a complete amoral asshole. Period. End of story for me, as far as I'm concerned. And you know why? It's got nothing to do with Benny Keys. The only thing it has anything to do with, I'm sorry, you're a pile of shit, in my opinion, if you want a young girl who's just starting out in life to have that to look back on at some point. Because let me tell you something, no matter what any of you fucking people on here thinking, you know this and you know that, no matter what, even in the most egregious circumstances of abuse and or neglect, and I am not saying any of that took place, but I'm saying even kids who have been terribly abused and neglected, they still love their parents. And that little girl loves her dad. I can assure you of that. And it makes me sick to think that she may have to look back one day and say, oh my God, I cannot believe that I went on some fat ass lech's channel, some lecherous, nasty old man, because that's exactly how she saw that dude, okay? Why wouldn't she? And talk smack about my dad. That's just wrong. Period. End of story. But I don't hold that against Constance because she likes him. I don't care who likes him. I just don't. But we can't hold other people to our standards. Constance, I guess all I'm saying is when it's all said and done, there's nothing that you will ever be able to say or do that's going to make anybody change their mind about anybody. All the information about everybody that we're talking about is out here readily available. Everybody can find more than enough info to make an informed choice. And I mean, I really hated that last night, the way that it all, just ended. And I mean, I wish that Constance, I feel like your emotion is getting the better of you with this. I know how you feel. I know why you feel that way. And one thing Nicolina is stupid, not by a long shot. And while she is sitting there cool as a cucumber, speaking just like this, and you're losing your shit, that's probably exactly what she wants to happen. So listen, it's not my fight. I in theory, I know why you're doing and feel the way you do. But I just don't believe that all it's going to do is hurt you and not accomplish what you're wanting it to accomplish. Because look, all the things that I just said about Jimbo is anything I said. And to me, that is the truth. I kept hearing you say last night, because it's the truth. I'm not white knighting for Jimbo. I'm white knighting for the truth. And I would do it for you. And I believe you would. But before you came in here early on, I said that, in a perfect world, I think you see things very black or white. And even the truth, well, my truth, my version of the truth may not be the same as your version of the truth. I mean, that's just, it would be nice if, we'd have a lot less problems if it was just black, white. It rarely is. So, but just like the things I just said about Jimbo, okay, to me, those are the truth. But is that going to make you not like him? And trust me, I don't care who you like. It doesn't mean that I don't like you just because you like him. But that's kind of what I feel like you're wanting Savage to do. You're wanting Savage to say, okay, Constance, you're right. I know. And I hate her. And it's not going to happen. And you're never going to make it happen. So I don't want to see you continue to alienate people because you're trying so hard to make them see things your way. I hope that because Constance, I promise you, I am not trying to pile on you. I'm not trying to shame you. I'm not. But I just don't want to see. I think you're going to start getting the exact opposite of the objective. Well, Constance, I would say, I think I said this before you came in, at least last night. Constance, you would not concede one thing. You would not, well, I shouldn't say concede. What I mean is this. Okay, so a statement would be made, and then you would, like what I just said about Jimbo, I think he's a piece of shit. He used a little girl to do nothing but strictly get at her father, and he was wearing a blue shirt. So you would have refuted every single point by point, and he was not wearing a blue shirt, he was wearing a red shirt. And that, all I'm saying is, you got to give a little. Like certain things that are not important, let it go. Well, Peggy, in theory, yeah, that's great. But come on. They were your friends not that long ago, weren't they? You were in Shannon's chat not that long ago, a few weeks ago, and everything was hunky-dory. So, I'll agree with that in the real world, Peggy. I will. The concept of tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. As an adult in the real world, for the most part, yes, I will agree with that. Here, it doesn't. There's a lot more gray. Okay, very few things on here are black or white. Hold on, there was something I'm looking for in the chat. Hey, Tammy Lou, how you doing? Okay. Oh, to Kelly, every one of them. I don't give a damn what channels they were. Anyone, I'm saying it across the board. Anyone, male, female, who had, I don't think any women did. Anybody who used Benny Key's daughter in that way, disgusting. And to have your own children. I mean, bad enough. Listen, it was the most disgusting thing in the world. And don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. But if you do not have children, then that doesn't mean it's not a skanky, disgusting thing to do, because it is. However, if you don't have children, I can give a very, very small, not an excuse, but that mitigates it that much for me. But when you are a parent, most especially of a girl, and you would do that to someone else's child, all in furtherance of your stupid ass YouTube beef, that's gross. I mean, that's amoral to me. But see, everybody's moral compass is different. But for me, yeah, no. There are no circumstances in this world where I would ever exploit anyone's child for my YouTube purposes or real world purposes. I don't do shit like that. Okay, Peggy, can you stop screaming at me in all caps? And I don't know what that means. I thought you said that it's not important who is in whose chat. Listen, I also said, hold on a minute. Oh, Nick, I have my own spray tan machine. You didn't know that? Yeah. It's like the kind you it's just a little compressor and it's got the cup you pour. My husband said it's the exact same thing you paint a car with. What I said is powder puff. Okay, well, if you can't see, then that's fine, Peggy, because when I have to do the same thing. So that's fine. I'm in chats all the time with people that I don't necessarily care for, but I really try to, especially in someone else's chat. I mean, I try and mind my P's and Q's and not be disrespectful of someone else's chat. So I'm really never gonna start mixing it up with somebody in someone else's chat. Hey, Queen Ashley, how you doing? And I also know that I don't necessarily there are channels that I like very much. Well, Queen Bee's one. I'm in there a lot. Does that mean that I love everybody there? Everybody on panel at all times? No. But that doesn't make me think less of her. That doesn't make me, I would never say, well, I like you a lot, but I can't stand this person on the panel. I hate this one down in the chat. And I can't believe you have these people over here. No, I would just remove myself. Hey Zen. Oh yeah, no, my days of listen, I'm born and raised in Florida. I remember days of laying on a Band de Soleil silver blanket that looked like tinfoil while using my special secret mixture of baby oil, wait for it, and coffee grinds that I would worship the sun in. So yes, I've had years of very bad Florida sun exposure. It's all fake, 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 fake. I have I think it's Maxi Mist, and it's actually from a company in Florida called, I can't remember. But if anybody wants it, I can look it up. Okay. Well, I think I've hit all the highlights. Okay. So yeah, Constance, I would love to see you. Just, oh my God, I just made the most beautiful shot that will never happen again. Did y'all see me like flick that piece of paper? It absolutely sailed into my garbage can that is several feet away. That will never happen again. I would love to see you take that tenacity, and my God, there have got to be some things that you could really make a difference or help make a difference for people or a situation or a cause with that tenacity. I just think I think you're causing your, while I can understand your reasonings behind your endeavors, I mean, look what's happening. It's the opposite is happening, Constance. You're and I I don't think, I'm not speaking for Savage. Please don't think that I am, but I would imagine that she probably didn't feel great about, the way it all ended last night. So I just, listen, we've all said and done things on here. There's nobody innocent on here. And I am not trying to tell you what to do. I'm truly not. But I can't help but think that your life, at least your YouTube life, would be so much calmer, easier. If, I mean, I don't think I don't understand, Constance, about, because when I left this platform during the Quentin Simon, first it was Simon, and then now everybody says Simon. I'm just used to saying Simon. I mean, I'm sure there's people who think I lost my channel. I hand to God on my son's life, I did not. I blew my own channel up. I didn't even put it on, I think it's called, you can pause it or something. I blew this shit up because every day it just got more and more. Somebody put it really well the other day. I saw it, said, just when you think YouTube has something about like sunk to the lowest levels, you find out it has a basement. And that's so true. And Constance, I'm telling you, I was so angry looking at what was going on in that neighborhood in Savannah. I I was so like, I didn't like how, well, the ironic part of it is, since I've come back, I've just decided to lean in and embrace it. This is, I've always been like this my whole life. Constance, I trust me when I tell you, there are things that I very much can identify with in things that you do, or your feelings on things. But there comes a point when the only well, this is always the case. You can only control you and how you respond to it. You're never going to, I mean, you might be able to get a few people to see things your way, but I mean, there'll be more. There's always going to be the ones that don't, and you're never gonna get them into the fold. So, but I just was sitting back going, what? And I can tell you exactly when I did it. That's how vivid it is in my mind. And to not get all bogged down in the minutia of it, I mean, the general idea was this. Well, the system of reward here on YouTube, at least in this neighborhood, well, I just don't know how I'm ever going to, or why would I want to grow, because I felt like, look at these fucking scumbags and what they are doing every day. And these idiots on here are giving them money. They are making money hand over fist. They've got people putting them up in motels. They're sending them food like it's a fucking tailgate party, under the name of justice for a baby. It was despicable. And I'm sitting back looking at this going, oh, I'm in the wrong place, because I will never give them that. I have too much self-respect and respect for, other people. So to sit and watch the decent people who nobody wants to watch that, what they all want to watch is that shit show circus. So it got to a point where I was just like, this is gross. Yeah, Constance, we can do that. I've been on like 2.5 hours, and plus, even if I hadn't been, I just don't think it's not the time. I absolutely believe that emotions are probably still raw for you. I wouldn't do that to you, Constance. I don't think it's. And Constance didn't ask to come up now. That's her comment said maybe sometime I can come up. And I said, we can absolutely do that. We're not going to do it today. But she did not ask to do it today. But even if she had, I wouldn't. So, Constance, when I say that I understand, I think I understand, and I can relate to what I think are your your reasons for why you feel like you do. I can, because that really truly is why I blew my channel up, because I just said, my God, like, what am I doing here? But I did what I really missed. I didn't miss any of that shit, but I did miss the, the sense of, like, listen, we don't really have communities anymore in real life. I mean, it's not like when I was a kid, where I grew up in a subdivision, one way in, one way out. In the summertime, we would leave in the morning in our bathing suits. Everybody in our neighborhood had a pool, and we would hop between our neighborhood and the two subdivisions adjacent to ours. Excuse me. Come home when the street lights come on. I mean, I come from the time of block parties for the 4th of July, all of that. And I think the more society, like, even where I live now, I don't have sidewalks where I live. Even if I wanted to, get out and walk around my neighborhood, I'd have to walk in the road. And so I think that I did miss. I really did. I missed being in chats. I missed watching, the various creators. But Constance, I will tell you that for me, I do not regret for 1 minute. And when I blew that channel up, I think it had about 1,600 subs. And listen, let me just say this while I'm here. I sit back and I watch channels that are not that much older than mine. And they've got 3 or 4 times, sometimes 5 or 6 times the subs. And I'm like, and trust and believe that there's a few that I'm like, I feel like before and now, I have absolutely been helped and shouted out by a few bigger channels who, definitely gave me help with subs. But I still feel like I have earned every single one of them. Now, I don't do what a lot of people do. I don't come on live every day or every night. Mainly because this smoke and mirrors takes time, kids. I don't come rolling up here in my pajamas. So I just believe me when I tell you that I may not, the reason I'm not on here, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I know that what it really will take if I want to really grow the channel, it's going to take more, more time in the trenches. But see, I don't want to be on here every day. I can't. This takes a lot out of you. And to be angry a lot of the time, that really takes it out of you. So I definitely understand, believe me, I've had feelings of sitting back and saying, well, what the fuck? Like, why does that one have, 4 times the subs? And to me, doesn't really, we all feel that way about some of our peers. And, they're not all the same But no matter what, when it comes down to it, the only thing I can control is me. And I think we're all old enough to know that what I said before was the universe. Oh, Kathy Peace, wouldn't that be fun? Hey, Jasmine D. Yeah, listen, I don't know how to be anything else, okay? I just don't. And I'm not going to. I am not going to pander to the masses. I will, this is me, this is who I am. Love me or don't. Um, that's the great thing. There's so many choices. So, but yeah, I'm not for everybody. Believe me, I absolutely I get that. And you know, I have a lot of self-awareness. I would imagine that, oh gosh, if I had to venture a guess, I'd say at least 50%. At least 50% of the channels in this neighborhood. Well, my goodness. I bet if you said, now, can you name for me, give me 3 reasons why you could imagine that someone wouldn't like you. I bet at least half of those would say, well, I don't know, because they're assholes, because they're stupid, because they don't have any legal education, blah, blah, blah. Chaos. I mean, I absolutely, here's what I'll say. Despite what it may look like, and the fact that, I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of fucking dim bulbs rolling around this closet, okay? But despite that fact, and there are also some of the exact opposites, I will say one thing that you will never be able to fully appreciate or understand if you are not a creator and you are just a sub, because believe me, I watched for years before I took the leap. And that is this. You will never understand that there really is. There's a lot of mental, well, everything from, some people might say strategy. I like to look at it as diplomacy, let's just say. And it is what makes it even more difficult is the diplomacy that, well, I'll just speak for myself. The rules of diplomacy, well, they may change from day to day. And if you're really doing it right, you're honest, while at the same time not appearing to be or being calculated. Because I like to think that I am strategic, and anybody on here who has any, well, I guess whatever they look at as success, but you have to be, okay? You have to think before you speak. And yes, YouTube politics, I call it diplomacy. And what makes it difficult is this is, my God, a 24-hour news cycle. This is like a 12-hour news cycle. I mean, this is like dog years. You missed a few days on here, and the good news is nothing's changed, and at the same time, everything's changed. There's a lot of weird, like, dichotomies that exist in this place, and some people play checkers, some people play chess. And the one thing you have to always, keep in mind is the tentacles and the backstory. And I guess a good way to end it is kind of how I started it. And that is this: the tentacles run deep and wide. And we don't know what we don't know. And for me, whenever possible, I try to defer to those that have come before, been here longer, and know more. I mean, but you simply being a watcher, a consumer, you really cannot, and I think any creator would tell you the same thing. You really cannot understand and get the full grasp of just how very much does go into this. And it, like they say, discretion is the better part of valor. Well, knowing when to say nothing is also, and just sit back and watch. That is also. Oh my God, mom of a gladiator? Absolutely. Listen, I'm glad I looked up and saw that. People share way too much on here. And I think, especially if you are someone like me, who you're not a nasty person. Because listen, and this is another one, hand to God on everything I love and hold dear. I talk shit about people that I think are gross, slimy, shitty people based on nothing more than what they put out, what is readily available information. However, I have never doxed anyone. I'm never going to dox anyone. And I would not cross the street to go to my mailbox, the distance from my front door to my mailbox, which is, well, it's longer than most people's, most people open the front door and no, I have to walk across the street. Well, I couldn't even begin to guess. I can't see it from my front door. You can't see my house from the road. But it's still a much shorter. What I'm saying, well, let me just say the refrigerator. How about that? I would not walk to my refrigerator. I would not walk that distance to cause a real world problem or out anyone's business on the internet. Not for Betty, not for Dolly, not for any of the tragedy pimps. That's not my job. To me, their lives that they live, that's their karma. And in no small part, actually, karma is probably a small part of it. I would say at least 90 to 95% of it, they have reaped what they've sown in their shitty, problematic lives. There's nothing I could do or want to do to in any way impact or even get into anyone's personal life. And I know that that's not standard operating procedure on here. I know lots of people say they've never doxed when we know they are absolutely full of shit, and they most certainly have. So, but I truly, I mean that. I'm not, my husband's got an expression and it is so very true. And that is this: you have to work very hard to have a boring life. I have a boring life and I love it that way. I don't have fucking family drama. I mean, no more than anybody else has. I don't have friend drama. I do not spend time with people who aggravate me. So it's kind of like that here on YouTube. People are going to do what they're going to do, and they will reap what they've sown. It may not happen I mean, I'm of the belief that I know for certain. Well, let's just do this. Oh, one more, so we can really cleanse, and then I'm going to leave you with a namaste thought. I truly believe that karma is a very real thing. If reincarnation is real, I am very much hoping, and I'm requesting now, that I would like to come back as either my dog or any of my 3 cats. I would really love that. And I know for me personally, I know I've received karma in my life because, you know, my life is boring now. It wasn't always that way. However, I do not have any criminal record. Well, except my, 35 years ago, my one and only arrest. But I've done, like all of us, I've done some shitty things that I would believe that I have definitely received probably some karma in my life, and I think we all do. But I think most times the people we would like to see get the karma, we're never going to see it. We don't know. You don't know when it happens, and you don't know what it is, what the reason that it's being gifted to you is either. So, all right. Oh, to Kelly. I think I saw a comment that, did Betty dox you? Did I not see that the other day in a video or in a chat? I swear I thought I saw it on a clip, maybe. Yeah, and here's another thing I'd say. Just remember this, because I think it'll cushion. Well, kind of like life. This place is just an exaggerated. For me, it seems to just be a very like hyper exaggerated form of, because of course there's things on here that are very much real life. I know we've all in real life had people that, we really thought they were a ride or die, and they turned out to not be. And this place will be no different. So I guess the best you can hope for is, choose wisely, but you can't always account for everything. And people usually do. They tell you who they are. Believe them. That's a perfect exit out of this dumpster fire. My little dog wants to go out, and I need to go to the bathroom too. All right, everybody. I thank you all so much for joining me. This was fun. What's today? Wednesday. Oh my goodness, the weekend's already. The weekend's going to be here again. Oh, before I forget, I sent Heels in the Air a text this morning. And Nick, maybe, yes, definitely. You can drop anybody's channel link in this chat that has a channel anytime. I sent Heels in the Air a text this morning and said I had an idea that I was kicking around for a show. I don't know if any of you remember back in the day when I was here before, I called it ViewTube, and it was basically an episode. We usually did it once a week, and it was White Rabbit usually always came on with me, and Dave's 276 would come on sometimes. Anissa came on, and it was basically just like The View. When I first started doing it, I would pick oh my gosh, I usually had more stories than we could even get to, but I would go through the news and, Google whatever, and I would pick like the top news stories. I would pick some of the top gossip, and nobody knew what we were going to discuss. And I would just read a scenario from the news, and then I would ask a question based on what I had read, and everybody would have to give answer the question, just their thoughts on it. So I thought that would be fun to revive, and I would love to have a guy or two. We always had trouble getting boys last time. I don't know if BDAC is still around, but he came on one time. So I would love that. There's something else. And then towards the end, I was telling the guests, okay, Nick, you would do it? Okay. I started telling the guests that if they wanted to, they didn't have to, but I would tell them, okay, you guys can bring your own. Like, I think I told them no more than 3 or 5. And it was fun because nobody knew what I was going to ask them. So you would get there, the clock starts ticking. It was fun. So I was trying to just think of, something new to do rather than me just droning on. That would be fun and something kind of different. And then I thought, and then maybe we could do I say we could do one of YouTube's, I was going to say over a week, like one of the pick your top story of the week from YouTube. Good Lord. But that we could be on here for a month doing that. So, but I think it's fun. So I'm going to, hey, Nick, can you put it in the back chat? Give me your email or whatever's a good way to get a hold of you. And listen, you guys, if I ever give you my number, it's because I trust you, because I don't have burners. If I give you my number, it is my number, and I expect you to guard it with your life. And I'll say this. I have never released or even read any communication I have ever had with anyone from YouTube, off of YouTube. I don't do Discord. I don't do any of those things, but I will, I have never. And several of those people I no longer talk to, and not because anything happened, but we're not in the same, we're in different places. But I will never, ever release anybody's. And if I give you my number, I would, yeah. And Nick, I'm sure we're going to get burned at some point, but oh, so yeah, Nick, put it in the back for me. You're just however, is easy to get a hold of you. that way, because, just doing a thumbnail is not always. I'd like to try and, if I can do like the logistics kind of thing before choosing, because I hate to just, I would like to, at least get the first one or two where everybody's available and I'm not kind of like just winging it, putting the thumbnail out and saying, hey, come on up if you're available. And then it's just me and heels. Not that that wouldn't work either. So, okay. Oh, goodness. All right, y'all. I've got to go. I've got to go to the bathroom. So, all right, everybody. Hope y'all have a great day. Maybe we will try and do this weekend. Oh, duh. Okay, hold on, Nick. Okay, I just dropped it. Okay, there you go. Oh, you know what, Peggy? I did hear Nick say earlier that he did take his dog. I didn't know his dog was sick. I wasn't on much yesterday. But I did hear him say that. Oh, Powder Puff. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I think that you're a new name too. I haven't seen before. So welcome, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and we will meet again, possibly this weekend. All right, everybody. Have a great day, and I will see you all soon.